The golden age of JRPGs had some of the most critically acclaimed games out there, and they're the reason why people get excited whenever a new big JRPG is announced, but very few seem to live up to the hype. So, are newer releases getting worse, or is nostalgia blinding people? This isn't really an easy question to tackle, especially when direct copycats fail to get good reviews as well. But the older classics had some really great moments that I can remember even to this day. One of my favorite examples is the two-headed coin from Final Fantasy VI, 10 years before the events of the game. Edgar and Sabin, heirs to Figaro Castle, suddenly have to ascend to the throne after their father passes away. But neither wish to be king, so Edgar proposes they decide their fate on a coin flip. Heads, Sabin chooses his destiny. Tails, Edgar chooses. The game transitions back to Edgar sitting at his throne, and we assume the coin flip went in Sabin's favor. But the truth is revealed in a second scene, where the heroes flip a coin in a bet. Heads, a gambler joins the heroes. Tails, one of the heroes has to marry the gambler. The catch? Both sides of the coin are heads. And if Edgar and Sabin are in your party during this cutscene, Sabin will recognize the coin as Edgar's. And that's a pretty specific requirement for what seems like a pretty important plot twist. But that's exactly the point. While Final Fantasy is obviously not a game like Detroit Become Human, it still gives you a different experience based on your choices. And cool hidden details like these are something that I've always gone crazy about, which is why this scene was special to me. It's brief and powerful, and it's a little secret I share with the game. And remember, this plot twist wasn't even part of the main plot, but for the background story of just two characters. And that's exactly why I like JRPGs. They're full of secret scenes that become memories. But as much as I love these games, I feel like I have to say something. A lot of the scenes and dialogue in these games haven't really aged that well. But wait, give me a chance to explain myself. What I mean is that a lot of the story elements that were innovative or touching back in the day aren't really as impressive by today's standards. For example, the idea of time travel was really cool and much less common when it appeared in Chrono Trigger. Today, it's probably one of the most used plot devices, and while it's still great sometimes, it does feel a bit overused, and ends up being corny when misused. Or take Robo's Great Sacrifice, which is probably one of the most popular Chrono Trigger scenes. I love this scene, but robots making great sacrifices has also become pretty common nowadays. Or even Edgar, the womanizing king we talked about. If someone was writing the script for FF6 today, the FBI would have already sent the writer to jail. Even if it somehow got greenlit, I feel like in today's world, his creepiness would overshadow the coin story. And I've been complaining, but the point I'm trying to make is that a lot of the JRPGs we see today don't really try to innovate their stories. It's cool being the chosen one trying to save the world once or twice, or maybe even 10 times, but you can't expect this to be fun forever. And yes, there are fresh modern games with great reviews, but I feel like they're becoming rare. If you have any recommendations, let me know. And there's another problem. We see too many indie studios try to continue the legacy of JRPGs. Remember, the best JRPGs at the time were made by AAA studios. It's virtually impossible for indie studios to conjure up a game with that much detail and find a way to be unique. Or is it? Undertale, the indie hit based off the old JRPG series Mother, is probably the best example of a modern game that makes character development interesting. Undertale provides multiple endings depending on what choices you make, and major characters can either become your best friend or your worst enemy. And not only that, but each battle is designed in a way that represents the character you're up against. Take this fight with a dog, for example. You can literally pet it and play with it to make it too tired to fight. And the game is very aware of your actions. The dialogue keeps changing and the dog's attack becomes this. And this dog appears just once. And it's this level of detail that we've been craving. Undertale tries its best to make all the characters memorable by making the audio, the dialogue, and the gameplay unique for each and every battle, which is akin to what I think made JRPG stand out. But of course Undertale is the exception, and it's pretty obvious why. One person working on a game for say 10 years is probably going to make much less progress than a 20-person team working on a project for a year. The level of complexity and the amount of work are just too much for a small team to handle. But it's not just the indie games and the JRPGs. I feel like this level of detail is missing in many modern games. Sure, we have fancy cutscenes using state-of-the-art motion capture, CG, and even ray tracing, whatever that's supposed to be. And now, AI apparently speeds up development as well. But I feel like story elements are glossed over a lot of the time. Maybe because the cutting-edge technology is enough of a selling point all by itself. It's not like we don't have great stories at all, but you'll probably understand when I say there are beautiful games with some of the most mundane stories ever. It's such a missed opportunity. We didn't fall in love with games 30 years ago only because 16-bit was impressive, right? We've got more tools than ever to make great games. What's stopping us? Thanks for watching.